Hi, it's Brian Reeves from Paranormal Investigations. What I'd like to cover today is cameras and how you can use them on investigations when you're out in the field. Now, what you can use, there's different types of cameras you can use. You can use a very cheap camera to a very, very expensive professional video camera. So what we've got here is we've got one of the little action cameras. Now, with an action camera, normally it will just take normal video. So what we've actually done in this case is if we take the camera out, as you can see, there's the camera inside, the little camera into its waterproof case. We've had the filters taken out of this camera. So what we've actually taken out is the ultraviolet filter and the infrared filters being removed. Now you can buy these cameras ready done, all ready to rock and roll for ghost investigations off Amazon. They've had the filters removed and they will say they're a full spectrum camera that's been converted, because often people will use full spectrum cameras not only for ghost hunting but sometimes for taking black and white work or certain types of portrait work. They will use full spectrums, so you can use them for the purposes. So you should be able to find these on Amazon. So what's the advantages? Well, the advantage with a full spectrum camera is it allows the full amount of light into the camera. It's raw light coming into the camera. So if there is something in the room, you've got more chance of capturing it on a full spectrum camera than you would on an ordinary camera. Now also, as well as the action cameras, you can actually get the little digital cameras. Now this one again has been ready converted with all its filters taken out. This was a brand new camera which was bought online again, but it had already had its filters taken out. Now often you'll get these second hand as well. Sometimes they use second hand ones because it's a bit cheaper and they'll have taken the filters out, but this was actually bought brand new, which somebody had obviously taken the filters out for it. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to tell you about how we use full spectrum cameras or ordinary cameras out in the field and the equipment you'll need to actually use it on an investigation. So what I've done here, I've put a full spectrum camera onto a holder. I've also got on the top of here an infrared light. Now I don't know, you might be able to pick it up. Once I turn the infrared light on, you'll actually see it glows red. It's not like a light, an ordinary light, and it's not like a flash gun. But without the infrared light, in the dark, you're not going to be able to see any of the images through the action camera. All you'll see is a black screen. So what we do then basically, once we've set this up like this, now there's two ways you can actually do it. We can walk around filming everything as we walk around. So as we walk around an investigation, we are basically doing a walk around as we're filming at the same time. Or what we could do is we could put the camera and the infrared light onto a stand and leave it recording in a room, because it's got quite a wide angle lens on these, so they'll actually record quite a whole room. Leave it recording while you're in another room and you can see if there's anything being picked up at all using the infrared. And you can buy these again, the infrared lights, from the likes of Amazon. You can get hold of them. These tend to be built specially for ghost hunting. So they are a specialist item rather than one you can just buy from a photography shop, although I believe Polaroid do one that is an infrared light, although it's not that powerful, whereas these have got 56 lights on and they're extremely powerful LEDs, infrared LEDs. Again, the more powerful the LED, the further it'll actually reach, so you can see through the camera lens what you're actually looking at. One thing to remember is as the infrared light wears down, the battery wears down, you end out with a little circle in the middle of it, and that's when you know you have to change the battery and put a new one in, so you need plenty of spare batteries while you're out on an investigation. So what we would do normally is we'd set these up, walk around, put them on a stand so that you can record a whole scene. And what you might have is them spread across a house if you've got lots of them. So, you know, if you've got a few of them, you can set them up everywhere you go. You could obviously probably use also a sound recorder, leave the sound recorder in the room when you're not there, so it's going to pick up any sound, and at the same time it's actually going to pick up any video recording at the same time. This is the DSLR again, which has had its full spectrum. This will take either video or it can take stills. So you might want to take a series of stills while you're on the investigation as well. And what you could do, and what a lot of people use in ghost investigations, is they'll use a Polaroid camera, because the big advantage with a Polaroid camera, of course, is you cannot alter the film. Once you've taken that, you haven't got a negative, you've just got a positive film that you've taken from the camera. Again, these can be bought on Amazon, and the films from Impossible, where you buy the film from for them. Unfortunately, sadly, it's no longer Polaroid anymore, but you just buy these refurbed. And these are really good to take one-off shots while you're in a room, and you never know, you might capture an image on this type of camera. Okay, when you go out in the field, you know, with one of these cameras, what are we going to be looking for? Well, hopefully we're going to be looking at an entity or a spirit. You might see it in human form, you might see just a shadow, you might pick up some type of mist, some type of dust, or you might actually pick up orbs. These are little round things that tend to travel. Now, the big advantage with orbs is if you see them, they don't tend to travel up and down like dust. They tend to travel on a slight angle. They can go into people and out of people. So you might get these white orbs, which are different sizes, that you might actually see on the film when you look back at it. Now, sometimes these orbs you won't see when you're recording it. When you play it back, oh, there it is. And also, if you do see an entity or a spirit, you mightn't see it when you're recording it. It might not look as if it's there. When you play it back, it's like, oh, I didn't spot that. Because what your eyes do, they're very clever. They'll focus on different things. So while you're looking at something through the camera lens in the foreground, the spirit or the entity or the shadow is actually in the background, which you haven't spotted because your brain can't commute everything. So sometimes it's best just to hold one of these, walk around, keep filming all the way through. Then when you go back, you analyse what you've actually recorded, look through it, and then you might see an entity, a spirit, as I said, or a shape of something. Also, what you might be able to capture is some poltergeist activity where something might fly across the room or something might fall off a unit or fall onto a floor. If you're lucky, you'll capture it on the video. And obviously, if there's a sound recorder in there, you'll pick the sound up, which again shows you that nobody touched it at the time and it just fell off the table. But sometimes you can obviously use it to debunk as well, because there might be a reason why it fell off the table, like there might be a window open, curtains blown it, it's fallen off onto the floor. So you can actually use it for various things. You can use it positively to prove there's an entity or a spirit or some type of somebody standing there, or you can use it to debunk the fact that nobody's there at all. Thank you for listening to the presentation today. It's Brian Reeves from Paranormal Investigations. Please check the links in the descriptions below and remember to subscribe to our channel and turn on your notifications. Thank you.